These are the automobiles of 1957. And in the United States, at least, 1957 meant excess everything. It meant the car was big, it was heavy, it was long, it had tail fins, it had leather, it had chrome, it had AM radio. And if you wanted to flex, if you wanted to be the coolest guy, all you had to do was go and drop some money to buy one of these big shiny cars, because there was no deficit of big shiny cars available in the dealers. Everywhere you went, the cars were ridiculously giant, had ridiculously big engines. This one has a tail fin on top of another tail fin with lights. This is a Lancer. It's got a picture of a lance, doing some lancing on it. Two-door, hardtop, trunk big enough to fit your entire family in. Not that that's okay to do. Double antennas, so you get double extra AM radio signal while you're driving around, listening to the big bopper. And this was America at its height of peak opulence. If you wanted a small car, the 57 Tbird was an excellent choice. Little hardtop convertible. Also tail fins, but more subtle tail fins. But still, the 1957, I think, was the peak year for American automobiles. You pretty much couldn't buy a boring car back then. Everything was cool, everything was shiny, and everything was more than you needed. This one has double curb feelers on it. This was America's done with the war. We're done being poor. We're done rationing. We're just going to burn it out in a blaze of glory. This one has a deck built on the rear of it to support the shiny spare tire. Meanwhile, in Germany, you will not have tail fins and you will be happy. You will have nothing. You will drive a ordinary shiny car with no fins and you will be happy. And in the rest of Europe, the Italians built some zippy little cars, but again, they were trying to save money, save gas. They were having a hard time financially, but at least they could keep it fun. Like this honestly would be a hell of a lot more fun to drive on a twisty road than any one of those big boats we just looked at. So the Italians were keeping it spicy. And in France, the Renault. You fit your whole family in here, probably do 35 miles an hour or whatever that is in kilometers, and you get up and down the Alps within a day or two in one of these things. And the Americans also had some economy cars, but even those were pimped out ridiculous luxury wagons as small as they are. This was your smallest small car back in 1957. So 1957 happened and it was a real thing, but I don't think looking at a picture of some of these cars is the same as being in a room with all of them. So now that I've been in a room with all of them, just to physically feel the space, like the gravitational pull of these things when you're trying to walk by them is incredible. And to see the shiny chrome and just imagine a time when you could just walk in the door of a car dealer and purchase one of these things and then drive it around like a normal person and everybody just thought you were a normal guy is crazy based on now when we're driving a bunch of sort of styrofoam bumper cars that are disposable. It's just a whole different mentality, a whole different attitude. It's like the whole world has changed in that short span of time. What is that, 60, don't make me do math while I'm doing YouTube video voiceovers, 60 to 70 years, everything's different. So this is here for posterity, kids. Back in the old days, if you liked fins, and this was the king. This one was the king of them all. The freaking, the Dragon Wagon. So even a station wagon was cool back then. And in fact, the station wagon was more expensive than the sedan and more coveted. And right now, like if you tried to get one of these, it'd be very expensive and very difficult to even find. So even the family truckster station wagon, boring dad car was the most awesome thing you could ever find. And some of the people at Cadillac didn't really get their fin game together until 59. So the 57 Cadillac kind of had, partially formed fetal fins. It didn't really have the full fins yet, but it was every bit as big of a boat as all the rest of these. It had bullets in the front and double pedestrian slicers on the hood. Just what was going on in Detroit. I love just thinking about what all the people were talking about, and like they're spying on the other guys and talking about how big their fins are. Do you have louvers on your hood? Like what kind of a gigantic, ridiculous motor contraption do you have under the hood? And of course, here's the probably, arguably the most popular, this or the Tbird, the most popular car of them all, the 57 Chevy sedan. But every single 57 car, even the European ones, except for the Mercedes, don't care for that one, had their own kind of style and presence. And just if it was 1957 and you bought a car and you were in America, I don't think you could screw it up. You were the man or the woman wherever you went. There's another family truck story. They got the picnic basket in the back with the beach ball and the suitcases, the American flag. This one's a little more basic. I think the Chevy's a little more hardcore than this one. This one's a little bit more sedate. And then here you go, another Lancer. The Lancer, I like the Studebaker best, but the Lancer is pretty damn awesome as well, with its fin on top of a fin with a light on the top fin and then two lights on the bottom fins. Super finny. And Stephen King was right to make movies about one of these cars killing people. And then the Buick. Now the Buicks with their high wheel lines. I always liked the way that you could see the whole wheel on a Buick. Really couldn't go wrong with any single car that you bought this year. Do I sound like I'm rambling? It's probably because I'm rambling. This is really kind of a turn the volume down and just watch the video kind of video, but I'll put some music in the background and you can turn it down if I'm boring. But that is a big old Buick, big nasty redhead at your side. You love LA. You love it. And then Ford comes out with this convertible that is a hardtop convertible in the trunk. This is a cutaway version, so you get to see the science behind the science. So you could put some luggage in the trunk if you put it in the middle, and then the hood or the roof wouldn't smash it. But it's very complex to have a retractable roof hardtail. There's the old the Dice Clay Fairlane 500. This one, in terms of being sedate and having some tail fins, but not slapping you in the face with the tail fins, the Fairlane 500 was a pretty slick car as well. I don't think you could have gone wrong, really. There really weren't any ugly 1957 cars.